Browner Sound was born originally out of a desire to own the best equipment in the world. I wanted to have the equipment to record my music, but I could not afford a $150,000 console. Every piece of equipment that Browner Sound makes is assembled and manufactured in Florida, with the exception of the components which are sourced ethically.
He had talked to me about a business that he wanted to start repairing equipment, and I remember he asked me if I would go and pick up some channels for a console, unbeknownst to me how big a console we were talking about. So I brought them to my little attic apartment so that we could repair them together, and that was the beginning of Browner Sound. So this was one of the first things that we engraved.
We did both sides, yeah, painted it, and we never finished it. That was the first thing that we ever built.
I'm very lucky because when I was in Seattle, there's an amp builder there. His name is Ben Varellen. I stopped by his shop and he was the friendliest guy. I would bring him these messes that I would make. I don't have a formal education. I've taught myself, but I spend probably 14 hours a day on electronics because I just can't get enough.
I have never met anyone in my life who will spend so many hours reading articles and books and, going online and researching. It's amazing. It's amazing.
When I came to Miami and I reconnected with the musician network that I had already been a part of, I slowly started to make the transition of like, oh wait, Omar, he's repairing amps now. So your close friends, the ones who are willing to lose an amp, these people were taking a chance on me. Folks who bring me equipment sometimes have an emotional connection with it, and they're very familiar with how it functions. So if you give it back and it's not what they expect to get back, there's a bigger loss.
I'm not a big fan of all those corporate sayings. Teamwork makes the dream work. Let's develop some synergies. Let's hit some home runs. The whole team is a bunch of rock stars, Yeah. All of that stuff, I don't like that stuff. The whole corporate culture, they've adopted words that don't belong to their culture, like phrases and terms to try to humanize something that is not human. The corporate culture is toxic. It's not healthy for anybody. And that's why I think that Browner Sound kind of developed out of all of that, because I couldn't function in that corporate environment anymore. It's too hard because it's not a healthy place. That's my opinion.
Naomi has been my partner at Browner almost from the beginning.
Working with Omar has been as effortless as breathing. We've always seen eye to eye, and the areas that maybe he doesn't want to deal with are the areas that I feel like I'm strongest in, and vice versa.
I don't know that I would have been able to put it all together without Naomi's support, because there was a point that I gave up. I couldn't manage to keep the business going and to follow music and the things that my soul needed, because I went through a divorce, my mother passed away, I was experiencing depression, and as challenging as things got, Naomi never abandoned.
Even if the shit hits the fan, even if things go bad, you've both got to be completely 100% in it, knowing that you might fall on your face, and be dedicated to make it out the other side.
Growing a business takes a long time. If you plant a bunch of seeds of the kind of fruit you like, many of them will die, but some of them might start to grow, and if you're able to nurture those, then you might find that something comes out of it.
It must have been, I don't even know, 2004 or whatever. We wanted to play the Warped Tour, but the Warped Tour came to Miami, and And we knew that there were bands on the tour that were not getting paid. So we set up a table backstage, and it was called Dogs for the Underdogs. And we made hot dogs for all the bands that were not getting paid for the thing. So it was great because we met Fat Mike, and we met The Exploited. And they all came over, and they were like, man, that's really cool what you guys are doing, and they had hot dogs and stuff. And then all the bands that were there were coming back to the table to have hot dogs. And it was nice. We met everybody. It was a great experience. And honestly, it was the nicest way to do the Warped Tour as a band, Because you met the other bands or whatever, and, then not everybody's a rock star, But you still got to eat, Yeah.
It's true.
We try to support as many nonprofits as we can. I've gone to schools to record Miami Girls Rock Camp. We also repair equipment for Guitars Over Guns. Any help that you can give, it feels fantastic. When you're working with a community, that is electric. That's kind of what it's all about for me.